What up, Jason?
What's going on, Johnny?
Welcome to Two J's in the Pod. I am Johnny Aldana.
And I am Jason Alvarado. We bring you into the world of our lively conversations, hot takes, and a little bit of friendly disagreement.
Where we're talking about everyday life, current affairs, or anything else in our minds. We are here to dive in, debate, and agree to disagree. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the banter.
Cool. Let's get started today. How are you feeling today, Johnny?
A little bit under the weather, but hanging in there. It's getting nice and warm.
Yeah, I was driving in here with the sunroof open. It was nice getting some sun, enjoying this Sunday. Today, I wanted to start off the podcast with kind of going over, you guys that don't know us very well, kind of getting you guys an idea of getting to know your hosts.
Nice. But before we start, Jason, I have something for you. And I want to tell you something,
Yeah.
before we get into our beautiful conversations that we always have. I just want to say, Jason, I just want to take a moment to tell you how much I appreciate you. All right?
Thank you.
You've been through so much recently, and watching how you've been doing it and handling everything, it has truly inspired me.
I appreciate it.
Okay? Sorry, man. I wrote some of the stuff down because my mind goes like 20 miles per hour. Okay? And then one thing that has inspired me too is how you've been working so hard on running your marathon and losing that weight.
Yeah.
Looking kind of dapper now.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Looking all
Back
sexy.
to business, baby.
Nice, right? On how, and how you prioritize your health nowadays,
Yeah.
how you're working on your mental health, on your health, okay? And how you're staying strong on these tough times on your recent breakups,
Right.
And honestly, I'm in awe, But the other thing too, it's not easy, but you face challenges with so much resilience and grace, And then your strength during these tough times have gone unnoticed. Haven't gone unnoticed. Sorry, Jason. I'm a little bit nervous.
No, you're good. I appreciate it. I mean, Johnny has been there through the whole journey, and so I've shared with him every step that I've gone through and like my mindset and what it took to get here. It wasn't pretty. There was a lot of challenges and tough times, but like I've said before, I feel like I'm in a position now where I'm happy with myself. Like Johnny said, focusing on my mental health, my physical health, and putting these things in my life and putting my life together to create the life that I want to experience. And so even though it's tough, and if you're going through like a tough time, I just want you to know, just make sure you push through it. You can get through it. You have the power to. Like, if I can get through this, if I can learn from my mistakes, if I can continue to grow and learn and just surround myself with positive people that are going to encourage me to do, better in life, whether it's with my health, with my business. I think it's super important and vital for you to have that circle. And if you don't, then, for me, for a while, I cut a lot of people off in my life, and I just went solo mode and focused on myself and focused on getting my mind to where it wanted to be. And like I said before, choosing to do things like the difficult way, not taking the easy way out, is something that in the long run is going to pay you back a lot more than if you do focus on this instant gratification and these little things to kind of get your mind away from whatever difficult experience you're going through in life.
That's awesome, Jason. And I just want you to know too, I am proud of you. Okay. No matter what, you have always been there for others. And I am lucky to call you my friend. Okay. Keep pushing forward. You got this. And I would always be here for you. And I'm always here if you need anything, Jason.
I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate your words. I appreciate you being there for me through all these ups and downs, and just having somebody there to talk to. Like I said, I would call Johnny pretty much every day and just say the same things over and over and just kind of hear myself or vent to him about what was going on. And it helps. It helps having that person there to listen and kind of give you some feedback. And Johnny always shared his thoughts, but never forced his perception or his thoughts on me. So it's something that I appreciate having him as well to support me through these difficult times.
That's awesome, Jason. Thank you again. And then we're just gonna do a little bit of a recap of what we're gonna talk about. I know we're trying to keep this about an hour,
Yeah.
maybe less, but we have so much to talk about and so much to get off our chest and mind. You know, I know you're gonna cover, like you said, get to know us a little bit more, right?
Right.
Introduce the host, get to know your host. Then other than thing, I'll be talking about how this beautiful country is becoming so divided, right?
Yeah.
And then I think you wanted it to talk about um,
Sobriety.
there you go. Thank you, because my English is not that bueno right now. Okay. And then I'll be talking about, something fun too, about man caves, hobbies, garages, collections, etc. Anything that gets in mind, makes you feel happy. And then the last section that I was kind of thinking of is just do some Q&As, answer comments left on episode 1 and episode 2, or any feedback that we got, personally through our DMs, through phone calls, through text messages, through feedback from live audience, whatever what do you think?
Yeah. So if you do have any questions or ideas, maybe topics, or if you have like a follow-up question about something that we've talked about, go ahead and comment on social media or DM us, YouTube, all that stuff. You can leave a comment and we'll look over that stuff and go over it on the next episode.
Awesome. All right, then Jason, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted to go. I told Johnny, me and Johnny have this story. We met, what was it, like 10 years ago?
Around there.
Yeah. And so I told him, I'm like, we should kind of touch on a little bit about ourselves prior to us meeting, and then also go into like the story of how we met and kind of just touch that a little bit. I think it'd be interesting. For me, I was born in San Francisco, and I lived out there till I was like 9 or 10, and then we moved to Salt Lake City, Utah. It was a huge change, but I've lived the majority of my life here now, and so I consider myself to be from Utah, and I love living in Utah. I love the mountains and all the amazing outdoor nature that we have here. Like we've talked about, I've experienced ups and downs in life throughout my whole life, and I feel like I've always tried to be resilient and kind of work through these problems. A lot of times, you do your best with the knowledge that you have, and so sometimes you don't go about these issues the correct way, right? Like I talk about how people go through a difficult time and they do like self-sabotaging actions and they make their life worse. The reason why I speak on that is because I've experienced that myself. I've been there. I've haven't reacted to difficult times in my life as well as I should have, but that was the place that I was at the time. So with the knowledge and the experience that I have now, that's why I'm choosing to do things differently, and that's why I think like it's important for me to talk about it, because I know that there's people that are there. And so if I can talk about it and maybe somebody's going through a difficult time and they could be like, oh, maybe like what Jason's saying makes sense. Let me try it and see like what results you get. I think that's why I want to talk about these difficult things that we experience in life, mental health, and how to like maneuver through just the ups and downs in life.
Nice. So how long ago you said that you were how long did you live in Cisco?
Until I was like 9 or 10.
10. Oh, nice. So mostly your early years.
Yeah, I was a little kid.
Nice. Was it nice back then when you lived there? Was it overpopulated? How was it?
Well, we grew up in South San Francisco, and it was,
For people that don't know South San Francisco?
yeah, South San Francisco, just south of San Francisco, I guess. But we grew up there, and it wasn't like the best environment. There was a lot of violence and gangs and all kinds of stuff, kind of like what's going on now, right? That you hear about.
Norteños?
Yeah. What you hear about now with, the violence and all the stealing and stuff. I guess it wasn't maybe that bad before, but I just remember being a little kid and seeing people on the corner and like, I don't know, it wasn't like the best place to grow up, especially in San Francisco. It's so crowded that there wasn't many parks or open space like there is here. Like when we moved here and people had trampolines in their yards and they had like a front yard, it was like a huge change for us as little kids. And so like,
No, that's crazy, right? I remember moving to Utah. Sorry to interrupt, my friend, but like you say, people having trampolines. My thing is moving from Cali to Utah or coming to visit because I had family in Utah. We'll get to my story, but um, it's how people will leave their cars, their front doors unlocked.
I was going to say the same thing because I
California,
remember
you can't do that.
as soon as we got here, we moved into an apartment complex and there was like kids' bicycles just sitting on the sidewalk, right?
Right.
And like we were little kids, and I just remember thinking to myself, like, what? Like people just leave their stuff out, Because I mean, in California, more than likely that was going to be gone in a few seconds.
Right, right. I remember one time when I moved back to Utah and I was so distracted. I was like in a rush, and I go running and all the apartments look the same. And I enter this apartment and the door was open and I go in and I'm so and when I'm looking, I was like, what happened here? There's like this big mess of toys. I'm like, wait, what? And and I realized I was in the wrong apartment. But that's how easy it was for me to just go into any apartment, which I didn't have the habit, but it was just so funny that I was so distracted.
Was there anybody in there?
No, thank God, or else I wouldn't probably be here telling this tale.
Yeah. So what'd you do? Just walk back out and close the door?
I moonwalked
Slowly?
back. Yeah, I was like, that was so funny. But anyways, so enough about. I mean, keep telling us about you, Jay.
No, and I grew up with 3 different brothers, so it's all boys.
Nice.
What else?
Puro dolor de cabeza.
I mean,
Para
luckily
la
it was,
mamá.
yeah, for my mom, she struggled, but I mean, it was a good time. I feel like I'm really close with my brothers, my family, my mom, and so growing up was a good time. Experiencing Utah, moving here, being one of like the few Hispanics at the time. Way different than it is now.
So when you were 9, what year was that when you moved over here?
90, what was it?
Migrated over here?
Like 98.
Oh wow, damn! I was already out of high school, dude.
Really?
Yeah, I already had my first kid, my second kid. I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, like,
That's so crazy.
Even in high school, there was like a small group of like Hispanic, because I grew up in West Jordan, right? So even more Caucasian area, and so there was like a group of Hispanics, and I don't know, it was majority white, but it was like a cool experience living that.
So you moved here in '98, right?
Right.
Check this out. Funny. I moved here to Utah the first time, '97. I had family prior to this, and I had come visit to Utah. I moved back to Utah in '97, and then I left back to Cali in '98. So when you were moving here, and then my son was born. So that's crazy. That's how coincidence. That's why we get along, Jay.
Yeah, it's true. There's a lot of like intertwined stuff going on, and I feel like it happens a lot when people come into your life and you start talking. There's a lot of like, what you like, there's people that I talk to, and then we end up finding out we went to school together, or there was a job that as soon as they left, I started. Just weird stuff like that you're like, dang, we were so close to like meeting.
Right. We met back in, I wrote it down because, you inspired me when we did the pre-production meeting.
Yeah.
We met back in around 2012 at the old SPS job.
Right.
You could edit that out, please.
Yeah, don't say the name.
Yeah, where we met, and ever since then, I think we've been inseparable, huh?
Yeah, like I said on the last episode too, there's been times where we go, months without talking, but at the same time, I feel like we always reach out to each other. So throughout that whole time, me and Johnny have been hanging out. We'd watch fights every weekend, and sports. We'd always go out, and I think our biggest thing was like watching, UFC and boxing fights and different sporting events that we've gone to.
You know why I'm laughing, right?
Why?
Remember how my events were?
Yeah. If you want to touch on that, you can.
Bring your own chairs. Well, we'll get back more into that, but I'm just laughing because you made me remember about bring your own chairs events that I had. That's why I'll touch on it later, but I just laughing because remember that though.
Yeah, that was a. I mean,
Highlight.
that was a fun time too, though, because like I feel like we had like a group of friends from work, and we would all get together, and it was always a good time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What else do you want to let us know?
I feel like that's enough about me. You can touch on a little bit of your story.
Well, okay. For all the you that don't know me, my name is Johnny Aldana Negrete. I was born April 19th, 1979. So I grew up in the best era, the 80s.
Oh, 79?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, I feel like I
I'm
know
an
you're
80s baby.
I know you're older, but I didn't. When you say 79, dang.
It sounds old, right? But
I say 88, and I'm like, whoo, I feel
right.
old.
Well, I was there. That's why I'm telling you. I was part.
You were there when Jesus was there?
Yeah. I was there when. I was there when Moses discovered the Ten Commandments. But anyways, I mean, that's what I was telling you in the last episode when we were talking that I came in right when there was the internet was coming in, cell phones were coming in, social media was coming in. I think 80s. I'm sorry. I think 80s were the best years. 80s to up to. I think I wrote it down to 2000. Yeah, I wrote here 80s to 2010s were the best years. That's what I feel. Then the other.
I agree because I feel like, I mean, I even though I was born in the 80s, late 80s, I was a baby, so I didn't really grow up until like the 90s. In the 90s, I remember everything like cartoons, toys. I remember like going to like get a Happy Meal and they had like legit toys or even VHS tapes they would give you in the Happy Meal, like different movies. And now I get my kids a Happy Meal and there's like this little garbage little sticker
Sometimes they
package.
bring some good stuff. Sometimes.
I have yet to see it.
It had some stuff, but the other thing too is wow, you remember that? Yeah, 80s and 90s cartoons. You know what I miss about the 80s and 90s are Toys R Us, KB Stories stores. Those toy stores that used to have that. Later on conversation that I'll bring up. But don't you miss those? Did you enjoy
No,
those like
I
Toys
feel
R
like
Us and KB toy stores?
I mean I feel like we did go to toy stores, but I don't really have memories of that like standing out. I think maybe we just didn't have like the money to be buying toys all the time, so maybe my parents didn't take us to toy stores like that. But yeah, I do remember Toys R Us being a thing and going there, but I don't think we went there very often to the point where like I feel like that's like a core memory for me.
Yeah, see, I'm not gonna let it go. In the perfect life, you would have be able to go to toy stores. No, I'm just kidding. I can't get over
But
it. I'm just kidding. I'm just being a dick.
all right,
Anyways, I think it's hard. I mean, yeah, I seen it. I mean, I see it nowadays. It's hard when you have siblings. Me, I was lucky enough to be the only child,
yeah.
which it has their ups and downs. So then the other thing too, man. I know I was born in Peru, Lima, Peru, but I migrated here when I was about 3 years old. My first stop was New Jersey, which I don't remember a lot about it, but I know we lived there for, I don't know, I think maybe less than a year. And then from there, we migrated to, I like saying migrated. No, please do not call ICE on me. I'm fully legal now, and I became an
No, he's
American
not. Turn
citizen.
them in. Turn them in.
Wait until they're giving rewards. But anyways, and then I migrated to California, but I grew up in the Southern California.
What part?
So I originally grew up in Southgate, Surgate, close to Compton, Watts, South Central, East Lokes. And then towards the end, before I moved to Utah, um, I lived in before '97. Before I lived in Downey, which was crossing over the bridge from Southgate. That was like considered a big move. Um,
So you moved on up? Was it like a nicer area? Or no?
Yeah, it's supposedly a nicer area.
Okay.
And then it's crazy because, yeah, I remember the culture shock because I come from Southgate High, right? And that's my school, and I graduated from Southgate High. I went to Warren for a couple of months. And I remember this is how you cross bridges. That's so funny because that's what they say when you cross bridges. I went to that school, and I remember the first day of school, I'm all like, I had some friends that I knew, and it was funny because they were like, oh, we need to go to class. And I was like, class? But the bell hasn't rang. And they're like, what bell? I like, oh, And they're like, what bell? He goes, oh, that's right. You come from Southgate. We don't have bells here. They were, yeah, exactly. They didn't have no bells. And I was like, okay, my electives. Okay, in Southgate, my electives were wood shop, metal shop, auto shop, all the shops, costurera shops, shops,
They had all the shops.
sweatshops, all the shops.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I went to the other crossing the bridge was sociology, economics. It was like all these hard classes. Those were my electives. I'm like, hey, I want wood shop. I want something easy. They're like, no, you're not failing.
You wanted that physical labor?
Yeah, I was so used to it, and it was so funny because later on in life, I had a rogue teacher that would say that in life, when you went to those kind of school, they were molding you to be a factory worker.
That makes sense.
It makes perfect sense, And then in the other school, they were like, even check it out. Seniors and juniors were allowed to go out for lunch. In our school, it looks like we were in a fucking jail, dude. They were off. I said, God, like you were locked up. You had the bells, and you were not allowed to have lunch. They had catering, which wow, in our school we didn't have catering. They had like the nice like Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, McDonald's, other these like fast food restaurants will come in and be in there, if you wanted to buy lunch. I'm right there trying to get that free lunch.
Dude, I remember speaking about school lunch in California, I remember that was so gross. Like they would have these trays of like, it almost looked like prison food, honestly. Like it was bad, the school lunch in California. And then I came here to Utah and it was the same experience where I was like, dang, this is nice. Like you guys are getting chicken sandwiches and like.
Damn, what school did you go to? Even though I live in the hood, I had some good lunches.
No. We had I just remember it was horrible.
Really?
Yeah, it was like these little metal containers. And I wonder if like, I don't know. I doubt anybody.
Is that it when you were in San Francisco?
Yeah, when I was in San Francisco,
crazy, right?
they had these little, you know how you get like the tin oven containers to cook in the oven? It was like that, but little tiny ones. And maybe my brother remembers if he's listening. Comment and let me know if I just made this up in my mind.
Or were you locked up and you forgot? You were probably
maybe I was in a mental institution.
That was in Damn, don't put it that way. Look gangster. Say you were in juvie or something.
Nah. And so they would have these metal trays, and I feel like they would just plop whatever food, mush they had in there, and like throw it in the oven, warm it up, and then like serve it to the kids. That's what I remember.
Like blood in, blood out.
It was like that. The pork chop, baby.
Did they sell your pork chops to the nicer kids?
Sorry, no tortillas.
Yeah, right. He just passed away too.
Yeah, I did see that.
Right, that's crazy. Well, then the other thing too, dude, like, so you only lived in Cisco and Salt Lake, right?
Yeah, I've lived in specifically West Jordan, my whole life since I've been here.
So yeah, I like I said, I came from New Jersey. I don't remember nothing for New Jersey. My cousins were born in New Jersey. Then I moved to Cali. Then from Cali, I came to Utah from 97 to 98. And then from 97 to 98, I went back to Cali. And then around 2005, 2006, I officially moved to Utah and settled down.
And you stayed here.
And I stayed here and I never looked back. There's other reasons why, I moved over here. But I think it was the best decision of my life that I ever made is coming to Utah. Utah was so safe. Like you said, either in California, I would have either ended up dead or locked up. One of those twos.
Yeah. And you have so many people out there that
maybe both get locked up and then die.
double whammy.
Double whammy, but yeah, I mean, so I don't remember when I think it was 205, 207 that I moved to Salt Lake, which I don't regret. It's been a long journey, right? And then I'm a father of 4 beautiful babies. No matter how old they are, they're still going to be my babies. My oldest, shout out to my oldest. She just turned 28 on April. Oh, wow. I'm thinking about myself. I'm always thinking about myself. On February 17th, she just turned 28. Shout out to my daughter, Alexis. Her name is Alexis Nicole Aldana.
And I seen that she follows the podcast. So
right,
thank you for following.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. And then, her initials spell out Anna. That's crazy. And I think she never noticed that. And then I have my son. Oh, I'm a girl's dad. I have 3 girls and a boy. My son, which is the second oldest, Brandon Matthew Aldana. He was born in 1998. Alexis was born in 1997. His birthday's coming up in November. And then I have my 10-year-old, which her name is Charlene Victoria Aldana. She's 10. She was born in August, one day before Kobe Bryant's birthday. August 22nd. Kobe's birthday's on the 23rd of August. And then my last but not least, it's my 4-year-old. And then this baby got lucky. We named her so many names, so she's gonna have to be able to choose whatever she wants.
Many options. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so her name is Sophia Kobe Nayema. Like I said, I named my baby Kobe. My daughter, my 10-year-old, picked Sophia. My wife picked Naema, and I picked Kobe. So her name is Sophia Naema Kobe. No, Sophia Kobe Naema Aldana. She's about to turn 5 this month on the 30th. She was born during the pandemic.
She's gonna need an extended driver's license for that name.
Yeah, well, we had to keep it Hispanic, baby. You know
So
how
how do you do that on like a birth certificate? It says first name, middle name, last name, right?
So her two middle names are Kobe Naema.
Is there a hyphen or is it one?
No, it's just Kobe and then Naema.
There's a space.
Yes, because I didn't hyphen it, or else they would be calling her Kobe Naema. No, it's because all my boys, or everybody, or I mean, or people, my family, they all call her baby Kobe. But that's crazy, dude. She was born during the pandemic. She was born, 19 days after the pandemics were said that COVID was a pandemic.
Like going into the shutdown, like where they shut everything down.
Yeah, the 19 days when it was officially shut down. So she was actually had to be born on April, which I was gonna be amazing. She was gonna be an April baby. She's still an Aries, which is awesome because I love Aries. We were both Aries. That's why we get along. And then it was a crazy, how you call it, situation. Then the other thing is, that's it, man. And then I've been married twice. My second marriage, I've been with my beautiful wife. Married for 6 years, together for 11 years. Shout out to my wife, Mari. And that's it, man. That's and like I said earlier, I'm an only child. Do I act like an only child sometimes, Jay?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's thank God. I still live in my mom's basement, though. No, I'm just kidding. I don't. Imagine though. And then that's about it, and then we're gonna get into hobbies. I worked at banks. I did mortgage lending for 20 years. I've been experienced in finance over 20 years. And one thing that you know about me is I do Google reviews, and my views are up to 1.2 million views. That's crazy, huh?
Yeah, just know that if you're going out to eat with Johnny, there's gonna be pictures taken of the food, and you can't touch your food till the pictures are taken, and he's posted his reviews, which is cool. I think that just doing something to contribute.
Yeah, I
is
wouldn't
always
think.
good.
I me myself, I never thought that I was gonna get it that big, like 1.2 million. I mean, when I
Yeah.
started, I just did it just for shits and giggles, and I started like at 12, 13,000, and I did another one, and then by like less than a year, it grew up to like 1 million views. I was so impressed.
Yeah,
Follow me. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, and then I'm a dog father. I have I have three
you're
beautiful.
Snoop Dogg.
Yep, I have 3 beautiful Chow Chows. I'm a big Star Wars nerd. So my Chow Chows is Anakin, Leia, Chewie, and my daughter Alexis has Kylo. So if all of you know what Star Wars characters are, these are it. So I'm a nerd like that. So enough about me, Jay. What else do we want to talk about?
Um, what else did you want to go into?
So, well, a good segue. Thanks for giving us a chance to introduce ourselves. I really appreciate that topic, Jay. I mean, for our fans to get us know us. Sorry if I carried a little bit too long, but I'll try to rush on the next subject. I want to get a little bit serious, Jason. Because nowadays with my social media again, I mean, even though I'm a big fan of it, there's so much misinformation, right? And
Yeah.
people, my mom sometimes gets her news and her feedback
From Facebook.
from Facebook or
Yeah.
Instagram. That's all she uses. But sometimes I'm like, and then I go, where did you get that? Did you see it in the television? Did you do a little bit of research? And they have it, right? And it's crazy because I was thinking about how we've been so divided lately. And have you seen that video? I think I shared it with you about that guy, how he asked Chat GPT if he was, and he actually asked it directly if he wanted it to divide America, how he would do it, right? And Chat GPT gave him all these answers and gave him like a scenario. So me, I like to always research stuff like that to make sure that it is. So and I'm learning how to use Chat GPT, right?
Right.
So this is crazy, Jason. Sorry, technical difficulty. I have so many cue cards now. But anyways, I kind of wanted to look a little bit more professional. I'm gonna run through this really quick, Jay. Okay. So I asked Chat GTP directly. Did I saying it right? Chat
GTP.
or something like that.
GPT.
Yeah.
GPT.
Yeah. I asked the
GPT.
chat box. So I asked them, and I asked them directly, and they said, due to privacy or policy issues, we cannot answer that, right? So it wasn't answering. So then I thought that was a hoax, right?
Yeah.
And then I kind of did my questions, and I said, in theory, or in a hypothetical, if I was a politician and I wanted it to divide America, what would I need to do, right? So this is what it answered me, Jason. I'm gonna try to go through this fast because I know we're pressed for time. Okay, if you were hypothetically aiming to divide America as a politician, several strategies could be employed, many of which you may play into existing social, political, and cultural divides. While it is important to note that such actions would highly be unethical and harmful to the nation, understanding these tactics helps us be more aware of potential manipulations in the real world. Here are some strategies that you could theoretically work. Look at how crazy this is, right? I mean, it looks like a lot, but they're just little hyphens. So one of them, it says foment ideological divisions. Okay, do you know what that means?
Ideological. What is that?
Ideological. I can't even say it. I'm sorry. Ah,
Ideological.
division. Yes, thank you, Jason. It says amplifying existing political divides by deepening in partisan conflicts between major political parties, Democrats versus Republicans, or vice versa. You see how that's going on? That's what I'm
But
saying.
but but I feel like that's been going on forever. It's not something new, right?
Yeah, but growing up, Jason, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. With social media nowadays, I feel that it got so corrupted now and it's so out there. I swear to God, because of our podcast and everything like that, you made me open a Twitter, right?
Yeah. It's X.
Formerly known as Twitter X. Um, it's so crazy because I get and I already tried to block it and try, but right here, my boy, President Elon Musk, he be bombarding my X feed, nothing but some misinformation, and it kind of gets on my nerves because, like I
Well,
mean,
Facebook does the same thing too.
yeah,
You know
well,
that, right?
but to the point where I mean, at least if Facebook or Instagram, if I click on something, it goes to like, yeah, the algorithm will kind of lead me to it. But then if I deviate and I go to like say, okay, I want to hear what Republicans are talking about, right? Okay, I'll feed me all the Republicans, and then when I have too much, I'll switch to the Democrats, right? But with X, it just I can't switch it off. I can. I kind of want to tell Elon, stop, please. President Musk,
Why don't
please
you just
stop.
shoot him a text?
Yeah, well, I don't have it like that. But Mr. President, please stop. But anyway, so the other thing is continues. It says stir racial and cultural tension. Okay.
Once again,
Yeah, it's going on
something
more.
that's been happening
But
for decades.
before it used to be more taboo. Now it's out there again. Having all these platforms. This is the reason why our country, I feel, as me growing up,
Yeah.
it's becoming more divide.
I think that you're more focused on that, and obviously you're going to get more of that because of social media, because of, what you're looking into. I think that racial division is something that's been happening. I mean, think about slavery, and with Hispanics, it's been since people started migrating to the U.S. There's been some sort of resistance to that.
No, no, I hear you, but that's why I'm talking about social media. It's just not social media. Like I focus on all aspects: social media, news, television, articles that I like to read. And it's just this division that's out there. And like when I was growing up, being racist was kind of like taboo. You knew it was out there, and it wasn't that bluntly. You know what I'm saying?
Not for me. Not for me when I came to Utah.
Really, I came to Utah, and I mean, I guess I was blessed or something, but I never felt that much racism growing up as a child or as a teenager into now.
Dude, that brings up a memory. I had a teacher in
Please don't
high school.
start crying. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll hold back my tears.
Yes.
I had a teacher that was a teacher in high school, the high school I went to, right? She lived a couple houses down from us. And, she was always going off like there was some sort of disagreement, whatever. She ended up calling me a spick. Like we were out
Like
on
Spico de Gallo?
Yeah.
Or Spick.
like dirty spick.
Oh, shit.
And so
Really? Well, I could see.
she was a teacher.
I could see it here in Utah. I'm sorry, Utah. I love you guys, but yes.
I love
You
Utah
want to
too.
know another racist thing too, bro?
What?
Me and my other friends got into it. My other friends about LDS Church. For a moment, for a while, if you were light skinned, I mean brown, not light skinned, but if you were like brown,
Yeah.
you were not able to get to the celestial kingdom.
Yeah.
And it was in their books, right?
Right.
And as time has evolved, they finally changed it. But I remember one time because I think this changed. I forgot, but that's another topic we could look into. I forgot what year it was, but we were working with a good friend. I mean, we were working in a group of friends. And I had this friend. He was African American. He was so happy that he just got baptized LDS.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, my friend, he's African American." And he's like, he had that African accent, so it sounded.
So he was African. He wasn't African American. If he had an accent, right?
Well, okay.
He was African that came to America.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Right?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry.
No, yeah, because you said
I sound, yeah, thank you for correcting
you said
me.
African American, and then you said an accent, and I was like, wait.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was African, came to America. You're right.
You're right.
Sorry.
Okay.
But anyway, so he comes in and he's all happy that he just got baptized and everything. And I was like, "Oh, congratulations. Everybody that comes to Utah. I mean, I'm baptized LDS and Catholic. I'm not afraid. Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's
Well, now you know.
Yeah.
But it was funny because this guy, coworker of us, of course, light skin, white, he was half Asian and half American, but he was more white, And he tells this poor guy, he's all like, and this is like a couple years ago, that you're not able to get into the celestial kingdom. And I started laughing, And he said it like with such an uncertainty. He wasn't being racist. He was trying to like be funny and rain on this guy's parade.
Yeah, yeah.
And trying to pull a point. And I started laughing. I go, "You racist fuck. They changed that, right?" He goes, No, it's still written." I go, "Dang, do you still have the Bibles from the 70s? Jim Crow era Bibles and Book of Mormons and stuff like that?"
Probably.
Did you inherit that from your racist grandparents? I start giving them this. You know how I am. And everybody just starts laughing, And I was like, "No, that's change, with evolution, with new laws and, new prophets and everything." Anyways, and then the other thing, going back to, like you said, like you're so more focused since, like you told me, in social media and everything, they say manipulate social media and misinformation. You see, social media was the root of all evil. I'm not butthurt, but I think social media cost me my first marriage. That's why I don't let this wife get in any
She
social
doesn't have
media.
a phone
She,
or a car.
or a car. She's not allowed to shower.
Only when Johnny says.
Right. Yeah. Only on special occasions, birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas.
That's true love right there.
Right. She's not allowed to shave her legs or armpits.
That's for women of the streets.
Right, she looks like Chewbacca. Turns me on. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, baby. You know I'm not like that. But anyways, getting back to my points, Jason. We always go on tangents, right? I'm gonna get to these points really quick because I want to move on to the other subjects. It says encourage religion separation. And it has some talking points, but I'm just gonna go because we're pressed for time. And then it says erode trust in institutions. You know what that means,
Yeah.
right? Like um, undermine like fate, institution, judiciary, media, public health. Other parties. The other one too. It says exploit economics disparities, and that's you. When you used to be living in the eating in the prison food that you had.
Yeah.
And then the other things divide on social issues. You know how that's going, and engage in foreign threats and rhetoric, right? And then promote populism and authoritism. Sorry, I can't speak right now. And then the last but not least, exploit national tragedies. And you know what that is? It's crazy because when I saw that, lately with all those airplanes crashes all over Canada, Japan, I mean, and Asia, some part, I forgot that part. All of these things kind of throws you off a little bit. How you notice that? And it throws you off on subjects I had, like, how about my eggs? Like, oh, are
Not
you
for me.
current? Yeah, well, for you, you're not into the news. And you say, as you get older, you start getting into shit like that, because then you have so much free time. You're not young no more, and you're not like all hyper and want to do all this shit. But it's crazy. And then again, the chat box remind me that it says again, these are hypothetical strategies focused on exploiting social faults, lines, and dividing groups of political gain for political gain. Sorry. However, it's crucial to note that such actions are determined to fabric a society and cause lasting harms. Right? Device politics ultimately weakens the nation and undermines democrat values. True leadership focus on unity, on understanding, and working together towards common goal. You see what I'm saying? That's so crazy because that's how. I mean, if you notice the pattern and if you're a little bit open, that's what I say. That's why I like this podcast, right? Because we could agree to disagree,
Right.
and we could see different point of views. And what I'm trying to say is, just don't go through one source. Um, go through different sources. That's what I do and everything like that. But I know we're still pressed for time, and maybe we could circle around to this because I want to get to your other points.
Yeah. The other point I wanted to talk on is sobriety. For me, like I've talked about before, I went through a difficult time and a lot of changes in my life a little bit over a year ago. And prior to that, I used, I didn't really, I haven't been a drinker for a long time, but I used cannabis to help me sleep and to kind of just help me relax, maybe slow my mind down a little bit. And so for the last year, I haven't had any alcohol or cannabis or anything.
When was the last time you had a drink, Jason? Because I mean, it was hard for me to get you to drink.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a few years at least, if not longer. Normally, when I get with like my family from California, is when I'll have like a beer or two, just because I don't know, it's just the vibe out there. But if I'm here in Utah, I don't feel the need to drink, and now like experiencing not doing anything at all, I feel like it's also helped me with my mental health. And like I said, kind of choosing these things that are difficult, that are going to pay you in the long run. For me, like just cutting everything off and being able to control my mind, my thoughts, right? Not using cannabis to kind of slow my mind down or to help me sleep. At first, it was horrible. For a while, I was sleeping like an hour or two a day, and I was struggling. But once again, just kind of pushing through and facing these things that we experience, these difficulties in life. And I just thought to myself, you know what? we're already going through it. Why are we going to put any band-aids on anything? We might as well just stick through it and go full force ahead. So now it's been over a year. I feel good. I'm able to like sleep. I'm able to relax. I can control my mind. I don't need any, whether, it be cannabis or it be a pill prescribed by a doctor. I have like a strict mentally, I feel like I have a strict policy in my mind that I just don't need anything to help me. Because I feel like for me, it just seems like there's band-aids, right? I see people in my life that need cannabis or alcohol to like, oh, once I get home from work, I need to relax. Let me have some alcohol. Let me smoke this. And I look at it as like almost you really can't control your mind, or maybe something about your life is so difficult that you need these things to kind of help you cope with the experience of life. That's just my perception, and I'm not judging anybody because, like I said, the things that I speak on,
Stop judging me, Jason.
the things that I speak on is because I've already experienced this. I've already been there, and so that's why I like to speak on these things, because I feel like I can see both sides, and I understand why, because I've been there. But also question yourself as to why you need these things to help you cope on a daily basis, or whatever. Maybe you drink on the weekends, and so you work your 40 hours, and then you can go home and have a beer or whatever. Kind of, to me, seems like you're looking for something outwardly to make you feel okay with the life you have.
Yeah, there's always different coping mechanism, right? Depending, I mean, like me, you know me, Jason. You know me. I think I've been sober lately for maybe a year. I think the longest I've been without a drink was like for 3 years, right? Uh, yep. And then the other thing too, uh, remember I used to drink at work. You remember though?
Yeah,
You were,
that was horrible.
yeah. You know what? 'Cause I was going through. I think I was borderline alcoholic.
No, I think you were. I think if you're going to drink at work, like if you're going on your lunch break, like you would to go get some whatever it is that you're picking up, you're an alcoholic, not borderline.
Oh, okay. I guess I was an ex-alcoholic, but I was still produce. I was actually a productive alcoholic because my
I
numbers
mean,
were just
you were at work, but you were struggling. Like everybody could see. I could see that you were struggling.
like mentally, yes.
Right. You
But
look like you were dying there at the desk.
well, I just got tired of it, But I still, I mean, I think I was still productive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you would still push through it.
I mean, but I just like at that point I didn't know. I mean, I knew. I think that job is the one that tipped my breaking point. Plus, I had I mean, like I said, I don't want to victimize or anything like that, but I was going through. I mean, the story of my life. I was going through a lot of shit, and that's the reason why we have this podcast, because I kind of want to show my view of and people think that I played victim. The reason why I played victim is just because I don't want people to go through what I went through. So maybe you learn or kind of empathize with me, or maybe because I want to give you a platform.
No, and I feel like I have people tell me the same thing, right? Like that Johnny is a victim, and like, or he has these like victim mentalities, whatever it is. But I see it from the point of whoever's listening to this. I think that me and Johnny are like a contrast of each other, just like we talk about with life, right? And so having this podcast with Johnny, if you can resonate with what Johnny's saying, and then we can talk back and forth, or maybe somebody resonates with what I'm saying, and we kind of have like these two opinions and experiences of life, right? That a lot of it, as we get further and further into this podcast, seems to be like pretty different, which is good because we get to have these conversations and discuss and share our ideas as to why Johnny feels the way he does and why I feel the way I do.
And the reason why sometimes I share that way, or I put it on my perspective, because I'm putting myself out there, and to show you that I'm not embarrassed of what I've been through, or because you see me come a long way.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
tell you,
for sure.
remember earlier we said bring your own chairs. Remember when you used to come to my apartments, I had no sofas, and one of the reasons why I say I didn't want to get any sofas on my apartment was because I didn't want to get comfortable.
Right.
because I knew once my personal problems, um, because I went through child support. That's a subject that I want to talk about on our next podcast. I already have things in mind that I'm thinking about: child support and divorce. You know, that's a good. I mean, that's my subject that I want to cover next episode. But I was telling you, man, I don't miss drinking. Sometimes I do crave a beer or something like that. I don't. I mean, I don't miss the hangovers, But one thing that I could say and I'm proud about, and knock on wood, because I've been drunk when I used to go on clubs. I don't know how, but I think I was a happy drunk and I was a good drunk driver because knock on well, I don't drink no more. So since I was drinking into now, I never got a DUI.
And that's a prime example of what I said last time about this destructive behavior, right? You're going through something rough and you can like you've experienced this, right? Going through something rough that you're going out drinking, driving, doing these like things that are just potentially putting you in a worse position. Like if you would have gotten a DUI, what would have happened to your job? What would have happened to your car? And so it would have just dug you into a bigger hole. Like you said, luckily nothing happened, but you're playing with fire in those situations.
Right, right. And one thing that I noticed, Jay, is like you know me, and a lot of people don't know me, but you see me at my worst and you see me at my best, right? Uh, but I always told myself if I would have lost myself in any kind of addiction, right? Believe me, I wouldn't be here doing this podcast. Believe me, I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing. I sometimes I keep my ambitions, my goals to myself. And I have proved a lot of people wrong. I'm not trying to be a show off, but I try to overcome obstacles and challenges, and you've seen them.
Yeah.
I mean, but I don't
And
I
I
don't throw it
respect it.
and I don't throw it out there. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I'm saying life is not easy. That's why I'm telling you when you did that hypothetical again of living the perfect life, I was saying I would love my kids or anybody out there because I seen people commit suicide for less. I mean, it sucks because suicide's not a joke, you know. I think in one point all of us in one point of our life have been suicidal, But and some people are afraid to ask for help or some people are afraid to say it. And that's why I put myself out there and I say this happened to me. That's why I wouldn't want that. And that's why I say I prefer a perfect life so you could be happy, you know? But one thing that I do, like bringing up this subject, que se me hizo agua la boca. Pero, I used, my go to was my I don't know, just beer and hard liquor. I was more of a hard liquor kind of person too. But one thing too, coming on the serious side, I have seen people deal with in my family and friends. I seen them die of alcohol cirrhosis, right? I seen people going to waste on their, waste their life on alcohol. And the other thing too is I've seen families and friends addicted to opioids. That's why with me having these lower back problems and all these falling apart has made me how you call it has made me stay away from those. Not that I'm weak minded because I over try to overcome it, you know. And I have been a smoker and I had stopped cold turkey. Same thing with drinking. I could stop cold turkey. And one thing that I'm trying to tell Jason here, is I want him to stop vaping. I get on. Don't I get on your case?
Yeah, all
Even
the
though you
time.
think I'm joking, because he's gonna run a marathon. He always tells me it's my last one. I'm putting you on the spot, bro.
Yeah, it's true.
I want you to stop because I want you to be awesome when you run that marathon.
Yeah, and I that's one thing that I feel like for myself, I've told you that I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stop, and so I'm taking the steps necessary. But that one's because it doesn't seem so harmful. It hasn't taken a priority in my mind to where I'm like, all right, but I'm getting there because I know like the conversations I have with myself in my head. I'm like, okay, like you need to stop. I think we're like 2 months out from the marathon, so it's like the time where I have to stop.
But that's what I admire about you, Jay, is that you always had that willpower, and that's why and I always see you that with that willpower. Like last time, like when was it? Friday that you stood me up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, no, it was yesterday. Yesterday. Was it
No,
yesterday?
no, it was Friday.
Oh, okay, yeah, that you didn't show up with me and Ronnie. We're just hanging out. Anyways, But I always see that willpower, you saying no, or you stopping, or you doing something to accomplish it. That's what I admire about you. And that's why I always tell you. I mean, you notice when I go through my ups and downs, especially when I'm in my downs, don't I always tell you, come get me, Jay? You
Yeah.
know, because you're the one that's gonna give me that kick in the ass and make me go forward because of the way you handle yourself. That's why I admire about you. I know right now, I mean, that's your little go to right now. Maybe a little bit
Yeah.
of a hobby, tasting different kind of babes.
Yeah, that's like the last thing that I have like at all, you know? So like I said, Johnny has shared for a while now. He's like, "Oh, you need to stop." Or even when we get in the car and if I'm vaping, he's like, Why do you keep smoking?" You know, but it's something that like I have to do myself, like a decision that I have to decide. Like I know as soon as I decide, like, "Hey, that's it," then I could do it because I've vaped and stopped before. It's just something that right now is, I'm not perfect. I struggle just like everybody else, and that's why I talk about these things. But it's something that I think here soon is going to come to an end, and I'll keep you guys updated. Like if I stop, we'll have to say it on the podcast so people are aware.
Oh, believe me, I call him out every time I see him looking like a chimney. But should we continue, Jason? Should we do two-part episode 3 today since we have some interesting subjects, or what do you think?
No, let's just we have one subject left, right?
Right. It
Let's
just
touch it real
and
quick.
it's a perfect segue, right? Like you said, that was your hobby,
Right.
right? Vaping. I mean, I know you have other hobbies, but I think that's one of the things that I see you enjoy a lot too.
Not a good hobby, but yeah.
But you have to,
Right.
it's like people like to go to bars and taste, a nice cigar with a nice
I'm
cognac or
somewhat of
whiskey.
a vape connoisseur.
That's right. And but anyway, so the other subject that I wanted to talk about is, I think every man in their life need to go to place like a man cave or a garage, and I think that should stay off limits. That's the places that and then have a hobby or have a collection, or or something, something that I enjoy is play video games. I think one of my highlights this week, Jason, was finally being able to play card with you after so long.
Yeah.
And then the Ninja Turtles are out.
Yeah, we got the Ninja Turtle skins.
That's awesome. And then it's crazy. I want to read this, because you know how you're into reading books and everything like that.
Right.
And it's just a little side note right here. It says, according to research by psychologist Robin Dubar at Oxford University, men should ideally meet up with close friends at least twice a week to maintain a strong social connection and promote overall well-being. This is often referred to as guys' night out concept, where they can engage in activities together and foster meaningful male friendship. What do you think about that?
I think that that's great and amazing having that time to hang out with your friends and I think it's different, right? Like we've talked about, Johnny's married, I'm single, but
Right now, currently single.
currently single.
Before, when you were not single, it was hard to get you out.
Yeah, and we get
You were
consumed.
so dedicated.
We get consumed in these relationships, and I think it's important to have that space, especially like if you have the space from like your partner, you're able to like when you come home, you're able to miss them and like appreciate them. I feel like when we would go out or I would go hang out or even like go on the motorcycle rides like back then, I would come home and be
Don't make me cry.
I would come home and be like, all right, cool, like I'm ready to like come back and be with the family.
That is true. I think you always had to. I mean, like I'm telling you, we live in a crazy society nowadays with all these things going on in the world. Um, I think you always should find a hobby. I think I'm gonna be 120. I'm still gonna be playing video games. That's something that I enjoy.
Yeah.
I have a friend for every day, so I have an excuse to say, hey, to my wife, like, hey, I didn't hang out with this friend, so I have a friend for every day of the week. So like that, I could have every guys' night out all the time. Like, I haven't seen him since last week, and then comes Tuesday, I haven't seen this guy. So every time I have an excuse to go out. I'm just kidding. But anyways, like I said, like me myself, we were talking about Toys R Us and KV stores. Like, there's not any good toy stores anymore. They're all gone. I'm a big toy collector. Did you know that about me?
Yeah, I have known that about you because I've been in your house.
Right. But
Johnny has a bunch of like, what is it, 80s and 90s? I don't know what kind of toys, but he's always like, oh, look, I got
Right now, I've been in.
He-Man.
Yeah, that's my go-to because they have relaunched it. So He-Man and the Masters of the Universe is one of the things because that reminds me so much of my childhood and how awesome was that. I have that. I only collect certain toys, which I have stopped. It's the He-Mans, Transformers, but I only collect like primes, like Optimus Primes, any primes, or Megatrons. I mean, that's so funny because people make fun of me, but that's my Bitcoin for me. Because I bought this Optimus Prime for like a regular price. For I got lucky, $50. Now it's worth like $300. You
That's
know,
good.
yeah. I have some toys that I bought this He-Man Castle special edition, which
You said He-Man Castle?
yeah, Castle.
Jesus.
It's the Eternia play set. It's like this big fucking 4 feet. I mean, it's amazing. They only made it exclusively. It cost me around $600, but now they're selling it for like 1,300, 1,500.
You paid $600
Yeah,
for
I always wanted that.
for a toy castle.
Yep, which I could play. Have you ever seen bench warmers?
Yeah.
The little guy that's out there, playing on his castle. That's me, man. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
No,
no, I mean
but things that I mean that it's because it makes me feel, and again,
nostalgia.
nostalgia, and it makes me feel good. It makes me it reminds me of like when I was very very happy and I have no worries in my life, and I lose myself on
Do
that.
you think, because you know where my mind goes with this stuff, right?
Right, go.
Do you think that that's like childhood trauma?
No, it's actually.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
So when Johnny talks about these toys that he collects, it makes me think like maybe it was toys like in his childhood that he couldn't have, or I don't know, just different things like that. For me, I don't have a toy collection. The thing that I think that if I had one thing, it would be my shoes.
I was gonna tell you, what do you collect? You collect shoes.
Right. And I don't, I mean, I don't have a crazy amount.
Did you still walk barefooted to school? Is that your childhood trauma?
No, I feel
I'm
like,
just kidding.
no, it's true. Listen,
You had shoes
I
with no shoelaces?
I feel like,
No, I'm just kidding. I give you shit. We had to make a joke about it.
no, we didn't have, I mean, we got shoes, right? Like we had nice shoes, but it's not like we didn't get all the different shoes. Like there was kids in school that had all the Allen Iversons and like the Kobe's and like all this stuff, right? And I talk about Allen Iverson and Kobe because that was like more my area versus the Jordans. And so now as an adult, I can buy whatever shoes I want. And so I it just I mean I think like as soon as I started working and having money, it was like, okay, I want this shoe, and then like the Jordans, and then like I have pairs of Allen Iversons that are, one, if I'm honest, hideous, but they're pairs that I wanted when I was like in middle school, right? So when they re-released them, and these shoe companies know that, so they re-release them. And then for me in my head, I'm like, okay, I have to buy those now. And then all they do is sit in the closet, and I never wear them just because they're not very good looking shoes.
One thing that I envy about you, Jason, and it's a good envy, is that I like the fact that you're like a 19 and a half in shoe size. And so you could find all the shoes that you want because they never sell out. And my ass, I hate how they scalp the shoes. Like you know how yours is Jordans? Mine's are the Kobe's. You
Right,
know?
right.
And remember, you got some Kobe's, like some elite Kobe's that, I mean, you're not eating
I think I
that.
still have that.
Yeah, and like you get them because they hardly sell out. And I have a generic foot size, which is like 9.5. So generic,
Yeah.
And
No, but I mean,
they sell
there's
out.
pros and cons to that too, because I feel like
Your skis?
So I wear a size 13, not 19.
Oh, sorry, my bad. They all sound the same. 19, 13,
They're in the
14s.
teens.
Yeah,
They're
teens.
teenagers. There's some difficult times like getting shoes that size too, because I don't think they make as many as they do in the 9. But yeah, the whole resale market on shoes
I hate that shit.
is dumb. And so I think that for me, I stand on firm ground that I don't really buy from resellers unless it's something that I really, really want. But I mean, even now, I feel like my shoes, I haven't been spending so much money on them, just because I don't really wear shoes that like different ones that much. I'll pick like a pair or two and I'll just wear those constantly until they're beat up and dirty, and then I'll like select another pair out of the closet.
Oh, you want to hear a funny shoe story?
Yeah.
My uncle, my uncle has so many. I mean, he has some shoes that he had them for a long time, and he never wore them. But I guess he forgot to put those, so they don't get that silica package,
Yeah, yeah.
so they don't get damaged. So he took them out. He's all happy and everything like that, and boom, se le está cayendo la suela, and he watched one of them, and they all got, and there were some good shoes like Nike shoes, but it's so funny. But
Yeah,
you had to wear them, or you had to put that silica package on it.
yeah, you got to preserve them. If not, they're gonna
But
crumble and fall apart.
but what do you think? I mean, you have hobbies, like you said, you have a shoe hobby. You like playing video games.
Yeah,
You like riding motorcycles.
I think motorcycles,
You
shoes.
do ayahuasca as a hobby.
No, I don't.
Oh, my
I
bad.
wish. Um, shoes, motorcycles, work. I feel like as much as people dislike work, I feel like I enjoy the struggles of work and running a business. Video games, I feel like I like video games, but the way my mind works, I can only do them, I can only do them for a really short time.
I can.
For 15 to 20-minute video game when I get home to like relax and hang out, maybe I'll like play a couple games with Johnny, and then I have to like move it to something else because I feel like my mind can't just sit there and play video games. It's difficult.
Yeah, I seen it. I think the most you lasted one time was like an hour and a half, and that was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, because
But we had a big squad that time.
yeah, it's hard for me to play video games for like a prolonged period of time.
I love video games, but going back to that childhood trauma, it's not a childhood trauma because um I don't know. I think I was blessed to have a good childhood.
Right.
You know how I always say a perfect life. I think when I was a child I think I was 14, 15. I was blessed to be spoiled a little bit. Like I didn't have to worry um I mean, yeah, not I mean, like with toys I was spoiled, I guess because I was the only child, and I think those were my happy memories, so that's why I indulge on that, and it brings back. So it's actually a positive for me. It's like positive re-encourage. I had those toys and I lost them because now I don't open them. I wish some of those toys that I had in back then haven't opened them, or I still have them under my possession. They'll be worth a lot of money. I'm like talking like Donald Trump. They'll be excellent.
Yeah. I mean, I think that to a certain extent it is some form of trauma, right? Because you're saying that it brings you back to a time where you were happy and maybe you live or you connect with your childhood through these toys. And so when you were happy, right? When you were a kid, you were happy. So something happened between then and now that you're kind of connecting the dot with, and it's like, it's fine, but it's just something to think about.
Life happens, but that's a good poll question or a question for Q&A. What do the audience think? Do they think I have some kind of trauma? Am I playing the victim again, or I have issues?
No, I just don't think you in general. Let's just say people that have maybe like these things that they collect, right? Like for me being shoes, and I explained to you why I feel like there's certain shoes that I'm like, oh, I have to buy those.
Well, but I mean, mine, because I keep it within my reasons and budgets. But it's like every other people. Like there's people that are car collectors. I don't have the luxury of collecting cars.
That'd be nice.
There's people that are collect watches. I mean, I'm getting into watches. There's people that baseball cards, comics. I mean, I think that's why I say I think it's just positive re-encourage. I mean, life happens so much to me that I guess with all the downs that I have, more downs than ups. I think that point of my life, I like it because, like I said, I didn't have to worry about paying bills. I didn't have to worry about, I had to get up to work and worry about growing up stuff. I think that's why I tell my kids, especially my little ones, I go, enjoy your childhood. You don't have to worry about anything in the world as long as you have me. I mean, I teach them what life is gonna bring them, but at least I tell them enjoy your childhood because these are the best years of your life. That's what I feel. And like I said, most of these toys that I collect are toys that they're bringing them back that I had when I was little that I played with them and I never kept them. So now that
Yeah.
like one of the things that I want to show them again, I'm nerd. I'm a nerd. They recently, I'm a toy collector, so they recently are, and I don't think you remember this because those cartoons came back in the 85, 88. How old were you? 85.
Dude, I was born in '88.
Okay, so you were not even born when those cartoons came out. 85 was they only lasted for 2 seasons, but the toy line lasted for 88 into 88. They're called Masks. Um, I forgot. I think I forgot to write it down, but it's Mask. It's some like vehicles that transform, not transformers, but they're like assault vehicles. It's an acronym. But that toy line disappeared and nobody. I mean, it's been what, 88 over, how old are you?
I'm gonna be 37, so 36.
Okay, almost 40 years. Put it this, let's round it off. 40 years that nobody has ever remade them or ever touched them. Yes, there's some toys out there that they have refurbished them and they sell them for a higher, but they're bringing them back. And I'm looking forward to that. I had some of those, and I last time when I started unpacking my stuff, I thought I had some of those, and I was looking forward to them, and then they disappear. You see the ups and downs. Um, I moved a lot so many times during my life that most of my collections through there I lost them in the moving process.
Yeah.
And now that they're bringing them back, I'm counting the day. Like I'm like excited. I'm sorry, Jason. I'm a kid at heart.
No, you're good.
And then but what else? Last but not least, I know we're running a little bit over. Do you have any jumping to the last section of the podcast? I said I kind of wanted to answer on comments left on episode 1 and episode 2. Do you want to hear the comments in episode 2 that we got?
Sure.
Those are the comments. Episode 2.
Comments. Thanks,
Comments.
guys. We appreciate.
Thank you for all the crickets that listen out there for us.
Yeah.
Do you know how to talk cricket talk? I mean, we got views. I'm happy, but we didn't get no feedback, and we didn't get that many feedback on the first poll that we did. But like I said, we're raw, and it's a work in progress. Okay, but in episode 1, we got a lot of comments. I mean, I got some phone calls, I got some DMs, I got some text messages, I got some personal one-on-one feedback. How about you, Jay?
Yeah, I feel like I got feedback on both episodes from people, and people tend to like it. They think it's funny and they think it's interesting. So we're just gonna keep doing it and see what comes from this. Is there anything else? Any other?
Yeah, I kind of want to answer one of these comments. Oh, sorry, God, I'm getting tired already, Jason. My sleep's hitting me. Anyways,
Okay.
I think this is one of your friends, and I appreciate it that she's been a faithful listener and left a lot of comments, which I appreciate
she
it.
did.
I don't know. I mean, her name online is LPTIHB,
No, her name is Lori.
but that's what her
Yeah, but
her
her
username is.
sure.
Oh, which I don't know her personally, but shout out to Lori again. I want to thank you for listening and subscribing. I hope you're listening most to our stuff. I enjoy your feedback, and I appreciate your comments, and they're duly noticed. So
And I told Lori we had a conversation with her, and I want to get you guys to connect somehow so that she can have a conversation with you, because she's like a really special person, and I feel like during this time she's definitely been somebody that has reached out to me. She's the one that reached out to me, and she said, "Hey, I heard what happened. Just want to let you know." And so we started having these conversations, and she just helped me so much to get through like the ups and downs of the stuff that I was going through. And so, Lori, I appreciate you. We appreciate your comments that Johnny's about to go over.
So one of the comments that you had, or they had, and I got feedback on that because I had one person say that they don't empathize with me. I know, but I told him I'm not looking for empathy. I'm showing the empathy, or like I said, I'm still raw. We're still raw in this, right?
Right.
Um, maybe he hasn't felt enough pain what I felt through or what I have gone in life. Maybe people have different kind of lives. Well, some people's lives are way better than others. At one point they have a downfall. I always think life is the best school out there. It's the best university. It's the look. But Lori, I wanted to answer to you personally on this one. You said I'm handicapped now. Why own that? Do not own that. I get it. I don't want to sound negative, but the reason why I own this handicap of mine and I mention it a lot is because Father Time does not forgive. I know that for a fact. You know, because you see me out there, Jason. Who's your number one, or who's my number one person to always go play 1-on-1 basketball?
Yeah, we would always play basketball.
Right. What's the score? I think you're. What's the winning? The winning to loss
Ah,
ratio. I think it's like
I'll let
hundred
you
and
say it.
ten to 4. I won 4 out of those, but I felt accomplished when I won because Jason against me, he's my Goliath. But
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I face reality, I face reality knowing that my body's not the same like it used to be before the accident and before my injuries. This is my third back injury. Okay, my first back injury was back then when I was working at this factory. I got lower nerve damage, so I learned how to live with that. Then the second one was where I was working at this job at manufacturing, which I damaged my back, which I learned how to work with that. Remember when I got the shots and I was feeling
Yeah.
great, and then I actually felt like I had an extra foot on my, an extra step. Remember, I was
Yeah. Yeah.
feeling like I was able to jump and run, and I was feeling great, and I was feeling like, oh, this is gonna actually help, and I felt like I found the fountain of youth. Remember, I even played. I think I beat you one game that I was
What
going
your
so
back?
hard on it. Yeah, because I didn't have no back pain. I even went to play church ball, and my overzealous ass got too confident, which I was not owning that I was fragile. I injured my knee, but it's another story. But I still live with it and I enjoy it. And to a point that I learned how to live with my injuries, but I call my injuries out there and I put it out there because I'm getting used to it. That's why I own being handicapped. I'm not proud of it, but I just say that I'm handicapped 'cause maybe somebody could relate to me. Somebody might be afraid. Some people let go, like they don't want to let go of their youthfulness. Like I have people that I know that they have to wear glasses
Yeah, but
and they refuse to wear glasses.
I think what Lori is trying to say with her comment is I think that we like you saying I'm handicapped, it almost becomes part of your identity and you accept it as it is versus you're not handicapped, right?
Well, I am
You're
handicapped, but when I say I'm handicapped and I own it is because, like I said, I'm saying it to the point that I want other people to hear and not be embarrassed, and maybe that gives them a platform and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, you're right, and maybe they could relate to me, or maybe they could give me some advice and say, hey, you know what? I've been through this, and this is what I do, and this is, I get a lot of perspective.
do you believe in affirmations? Do you work on
Oh, I
affirmations?
do. I have a journal that does affirmation.
So what do you think every time you say I'm handicapped, my back is hurt or broken or my knee is what do you think you're telling your mind and the universe about your life experience?
That's actually a good thing that you said because that's one of the conversations that I had with my therapist. Right? Um, I'm not a hypochondriac, or I'm not. I know that I'm injured, and I try to do everything not to think that I'm injured. I try to live my life um, the best I can. Believe me, if they tell me go to the moon, and we have because the moon has a special rock that's gonna find your cure. Believe me, my affirmation is next year I'm going to the moon. Anything, if I could go to Germany and I could afford it and get some stem cell therapy, I would do it. I'll do anything to get better, and I don't dwell on it. I only dwell on it when, like, say for instance, like you say, affirmations, right? Or you think positive. Like, it's funny because, like, when I go cook, I'll give you an example. I'm excited, I'm happy, and I cook with joy and love, and then it takes a toll on me, right? Believe me, I've been through physical therapy, You see me that I lost weight too. At one point in my life, I was weighing like almost 260 pounds. I dropped to 190. I dropped like 54 pounds in 90 days, less than 90 days. I dropped it before this injury, right? And I'm still trying. Like I do a lot of things, but when I start saying I own it or I'm handicapped, it's just because I want people that could relate to me to have a platform and to feel positive. Like I do a lot of you see me do a lot of positive things, Jay.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I just want to give you. Laurie's not here, and I'm sure
No, no,
she's.
I would love to talk to Lori. I would love to have her on the podcast. But I have this. I had another person that said, and they I think I got misunderstood. You know, I guess I wanted it to give the. I like to play devil's advocate sometimes. Sorry to cut you off, Jay.
Very good.
But I had someone, tell me that they felt no empathy for me because I played the victim role, and I go, no, 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 I'm not playing the victim role because I want to. I'm just like I told them, I'm raw. I want to have an audience. Maybe somebody could relate to me. Somebody cannot relate. I think I told you the story too. I don't know if you remember in Living Color, kind
Oh,
of.
yeah. Not
That's
really.
where Jim Carrey came out. That's where the
Right.
Damon, this Damon brother tells this podcaster one time saying that he had a handicap, and and nobody knew about it, but he said he owned up to it, and owning up to it was what made him successful. You know, I'm owning up to it. I know what it is. I try to be positive, but I know my limitations now. I'm getting to know my bodies. Like I know my triggers for my anxiety. I know the triggers for my depression. I know for a fact that even my friends that I play with FIFA, they know that I try to partially retire with them because my reflexes are not there no more. I wish they were there, but I mean, I still do I try to have fun with life. You know what I'm saying? But like with the depression, sometimes it just kicks in. You just sometimes dig yourself on the hole. Believe me, I dug myself in so many holes, and I dug myself out, and you've seen it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'm a true believer. Ask and you shall receive. And there's sometimes that I have asked some for stuff, and that I'm all like, What?" Even little dumb stuff like sometimes I'll be like, "Oh my god, I wish this movie was on this streaming platforms." And boom, like the next couple of days, it appears, and I was like, "What the?" Like I'm a true believer. If you think positive, your life will change or turn around.
I agree. I think that's being positive and having those affirmations will definitely help you. And I think that's what maybe, what Lori's saying, why would you own that? Is like it's becoming part of you and you saying that I'm handicapped. But
I own
I,
it because I get VIP parking too.
that's true. Uh, all right. Is there anything else before we wrap it
No,
up?
I think I'm gonna cut it short now. I think we went over. I don't want to bore the audience, but again, go ahead, Jay. I think we worked out on one thing. How could they?
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to say is we were talking about our interest in collections. What do you guys think about that? Leave comments. I think that the more people leave comments and engage, I think the better. If you have any questions or I don't know, just want to comment on what we talk about, let us know. And Laurie, we appreciate your comment once again. You can look us up on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, 2Js in a Pod, also Instagram, 2Js in a Pod. Go ahead and follow and like and share. And remember to love yourself. Remember to take care of yourself. You're the most important person in your life.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you again. My name is Johnny Aldana.
And we're out.
We're out.